3 baby squirrels had found themselves orphaned. After a successful rescue mission, I began hand-rearing them. They were terrified of me, but they quickly made incredible progress. Now this is the final chapter of their story. After spending time in the soft release enclosure, the wild was calling. But soon one squirrel went missing. And what happened next was completely unexpected. So the 3 baby squirrels are in their enclosure, and what a load of commotion. So it is currently, it's 10 o'clock. I woke up at 5 o'clock because the squirrels woke me up. It is so warm. So the squirrels woke me up and they had escaped from the box. About an hour ago, we finished the enclosure, ready for the baby squirrels. I went up to the guest room and all 3 of them had escaped. The male and female were at the very top of the window frame. I don't even know how they climbed up there. I caught the female in a blanket and the other male climbed down, and I then spent 10 minutes trying to catch him because he runs so fast. Tord, on the other hand, is such a chill guy. He was in his sleeping box, so I just put a cardboard cover and carried the box into the enclosure, and then I took the crate with the 2 other baby squirrels into the enclosure. But they are finally outside. I think they're very happy, and I'm going to set up a mini camera inside the enclosure and hopefully capture their first moments in the cage. The baby squirrels were ecstatic with their new enclosure. They had spent several hours running around. I was so pleased that they were using the new shelves and all the branches. We really had made the perfect enclosure. If I ever upgrade this enclosure, I'd add even more shelves so that they can use more of the open space. The baby squirrels continued to sleep in the cardboard box from their old box, but after several days, they discovered the Squirrel Hotel. I have the most exciting news. The baby squirrels literally just moved into the box in the enclosure. It's taken a few days and they've been exploring. The 3 of them are in there and they've been in there for about 20 minutes, so I'm pretty sure they're going to sleep. They're in there right now. The baby squirrels seem to be very happy with their new box and finally fell asleep. After just 10 days in the enclosure, and with my heart full of hesitation, I opened the gate. I didn't feel ready, but it was time, whether I liked it or not. The following morning I went to find the babies, and they were all together at the feeding station. They had survived their first night, and they'd made a new friend, Digit, the oldest squirrel I know, who has somehow lost an ear, but he seems to be fine. It was so good to know they've met the wild squirrels, and Uncle Digit is a very gentle squirrel. I continued to follow the boys, Loki and Tord. They were busy play fighting, and they were also eating wild food, which I was relieved to see. So now you know who the 3 little squirrels are on the front cover of my calendar. And I wouldn't have been able to run my calendar shop without Squarespace, who have kindly sponsored this video. Squarespace makes it incredibly easy to build an online store, whether you're selling physical products like calendars or offering digital downloads. You can also run a blog, create beautifully designed pages. Recently I sent out my first newsletter using Squarespace, and I was amazed at how simple it was. If you'd like to try Squarespace for yourself, head to squarespace.com/daniconnorwild for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, you can use my link to get 10% off your first purchase. So yesterday morning I released the baby squirrels. I opened the gate. The 2 boys, they ran out and they were so happy to be wild, and this morning I saw them both. They were at the feeding platform in Rue's forest. That's where Rue lived when she was first wild, and now they've moved in there and they look great. I then saw the female and she looks sick. Her cheeks are sunken, she keeps cleaning her face even though it's clean, and she was rolling in the leaf litter and it was just really strange. I then tried to capture her, but she went up a tree and she was sitting on this branch and she just looked so weak. The reason I released them much earlier than Rue, they're only 10 weeks old, but the female had started to pace and she would spend 2-3 hours going back and forth in the same cycle. She was really stressed being enclosed, and because of that she wasn't eating, and I could see she wasn't gaining weight like her brothers were. So I spoke to 2 rehabs in Stockholm and they said just release them, because if she's not doing well in captivity or the soft release enclosure, then she's just going to continue deteriorating and she needs to be free. But I'm not sure she's going to survive, and there's not much I can do at this point. The following days, the males continued visiting the feeding station, but the female had disappeared. They continued visiting with Digit, but there was no sign of the female. I was so sad that I had failed her. But then, she appeared. She was much smaller than her brothers, but she was alert, and I was so amazed she had survived. But then my neighbour showed me a photo, and she had been visiting the soft release enclosure. So perhaps she had been eating from the cage the entire time. But how she had survived when she looked so unwell was completely unexpected. 3 weeks had passed after their release. The brothers still visited daily. And then I saw Nesta. Much bigger, and she was with her brother. The most unexpected ending was that Tord, the first squirrel who approached our neighbour, and the squirrel that was always the most relaxed, recognised me. He visited my office window all winter long.
Do you want a hazelnut? Or do you want a chestnut? Okay, it's coming.
When we first returned back to Sweden last November, I spotted 3 teenage squirrels play fighting. 2 boys and a girl. I'd really like to think it was Nesta, Loki and Tord. Wild and free, exactly where they were meant to be.